tastes good.
What'd you get? And we're back. I think I'm on my 4th screwdriver. Live here at Blackjack's in Garfield, $19.99 Sunday brunch special, $1 drinks. And I don't know if you saw the video yesterday of my man Ovi, Alex Ovechkin, doing little kickstands off the Stanley Cup. Listen, I'm not a big hockey guy when the Rangers aren't good, just because I'm not really invested into the league like I am the other 3 sports. But growing up, there's always the one guy in the league, and then there's a second guy in the league that's always trying to catch the one guy in the league. And for this era in hockey, it's been Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
He's got 3 cups. Ovechkin was the other guy. And the other guy who's been chasing the cup for 14 years. And he was going to go down as the greatest hockey player to never win a cup. Well, that changed. 4-1, probably should have been a sweep. What does this do to, even if you're not knowledgeable of the sport, David, which I think you are, but even if just from an inside on the outside looking in, what does it do to someone to actually win a championship? To me, this is like Peyton Manning when he won his first Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, Peyton Manning was known as maybe one of the greatest, obviously he's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, but he always had that stigma of just being the regular season quarterback. Couldn't get it done in the playoffs. That was Ovechkin. How does that change his career now?
I mean, number one, I think it obviously boosts his status, right? His legendary status, whatever. He's going to be Hall of Famer. Obviously, that only adds to his legacy, so to speak, right? I think also too, but sometimes we don't think about this. You gain a perspective too, right? You feel it, right? You're there. You win it. You taste it.
Yeah.
Now, what does that do for you? You gain a perspective, but maybe you get hungry even more, right? To say, shit, this fucking feels great. This feels awesome. I want to be back here. So, and hopefully he can remember that taste, right?
Yeah.
And remember that feeling, and he'll be back there again. I mean, I was definitely happy for him. Ovi, one of the best, ever, and finally he wins his cup. Especially the way they did it. They were down, right? To get to the Stanley Cup, I'll be honest, I didn't think they were going to make it.
Me neither.
And then they went 2 straight to win it, and now they win the damn cup. So
How important was it,
really
Peter, that he actually beat Crosby to get there?
I think that was huge because that was a big stepping stone. That was like a mental roadblock for him to finally get by him. Like you always look, when are you going to get by that top player? And even though he may not be past him totally in the legacy, he only has 1 compared to his 3. Just being able, that was the Peyton Manning finally beating Tom Brady in the playoffs. So that was him finally getting by him to get onto that next round. And I think the comparison to Peyton Manning was perfect because I think that's exactly him. He was one of those guys that if he ever got there, you said, all right, he could do it, but you're not sure if he'll ever get there. They had never even been to the Stanley Cup. So you never knew what he was going to do when he got there. But when he got there, you'll say, all right, this is your time to finally shine. He completely shined.
Oh, yeah. And were you surprised that they were underdogs against this Vegas team? Which, listen,
Yes.
I get the story. Expansion team. But the Fleury isn't that great of a goaltender.
Yeah.
And they only really had one line.
Yeah.
So going in, I mean, you have Ovechkin, you have TJ Oshie, you got Backstrom.
Yeah.
How are they underdogs?
Well, just because I think a lot of people based it on, listen, we've been saying the Golden Knights have been the underdogs. They're the expansion team. They're not supposed to be there. And they kept proving everybody wrong. They kept being a high seed, the number 1 seed in the West. They end up moving on to the next round. They end up getting to the Western Conference Finals, blowing through to the Stanley Cup, to where they were waiting for the Washington series to finish. And then you're like, you know what, how much can we really count these guys as underdogs? They just keep winning no matter what. Maybe this is their magical year. So I think, and you also got to understand with betting, it's not always who people think the better team is. You also have odds. So if you're going to get good odds with the Golden Knights and the odds with Washington is a little bit lower, you're going to put your money on the Golden Knights. So a lot of people pick money on them because, listen, you got better odds on them. They were huge underdogs to start the year.
So Ovechkin wins another one. Let's say he wins one. You think he'd be the best of this era or still Sidney Crosby? I think in terms of Sidney Crosby might be the best all-around player of this era. Ovechkin is the best scorer of this era. So kind of like Messi's the best all-around player, and Ronaldo's the best scorer.
Yeah.
But if he wins another one, I think They weren't even this close.
Yeah.
They were in the same conversation. Now he's got one and they're right here. He wins another one, they might be on the same lines. I don't know what your thoughts on that is.
I definitely think so. You bring up good points. I mean, I definitely consider Crosby a better all-around player, but Ovechkin, he's just a better scorer, and I don't know, maybe like his personality is more drawn to fans, and you just root, you really root for a guy.
He's drinking beer out the Stanley Cup.
There you go, yeah. I mean,
you drink beer out the Stanley Cup, how can you not root for that guy? You know?
He's sleeping with the cup in his bed. I mean, I love seeing that stuff.
He's probably
as a sports fan. I love that stuff. I love it.
He's probably had multiple freaking orgies with the cup right there.
maybe with his wife or with the wife not being there.
I don't think it matters to him.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
He's just doing it all, right? Partying in Vegas, right, with the cup, and
especially if he
awesome.
If he keeps drinking that much, he will probably won't even notice either way.
So yeah, another season's ending. You know, NBA gone, NHL gone. We gotta wait till August, September. September, October, November. But a sport that's year-round sport, regardless of what time of year it is the NFL. And again, NFL makes news a couple weeks ago with the new Anthem policy, which to me was basically a cop-out by Goodell. Because if he would have stuck it in the butt and said, you know what, everyone has to stand and you have to be out there, fine. Or two, you can do what you want. I think by doing this, he basically gave in to Trump, gave in to those owners that for whatever reason think that standing for the flag means like you're so patriotic, and you know, if you kneel you're disrespecting like
veterans.
I mean, what were your thoughts on the NFL's decision? I mean, I think it's hogwash. I think it's bullshit. I think it's just a cop out. Like, what do you think? Being you that you are, you know, this stems from not only armed forces but law enforcement, which you are yourself.
I mean, listen, I don't agree with it, especially coming from the law enforcement background. But you know, in my opinion, what I would do is obviously different than what other people would do. This is America.
Just like Charles Gambino said.
Listen, you have the freedom to do, you know, obviously within the law though. It's not like you're burning a flag. No. You're not burning a flag. You're kneeling. You're making your statement by putting your knee. Yes, a silent protest. And you know what? Again, a lot of law enforcement people in the law enforcement community probably wouldn't agree with me. But listen, I'm okay with that because that is your right as an American, you know, being here in this country. Now, if you're burning a flag, obviously that's different. That's a big difference. So, but as long as you're a good citizen here in the United States, you're paying your taxes, you're for your country, listen, you should be able to voice your opinion by kneeling on the field. So, it's not something I would do, but
I mean,
I'm not saying that it's wrong, though.
With me, my stance is I wanted to talk about this, being a history minor and knowing the history of this country. I would never sit or kneel if I'm outside while the national anthem is playing. But my thing is, I'm usually not there in the game yet. I'm usually either in the parking lot getting wasted, or I'm taking a piss.
That's right, baby, the tailgate.
Or I'm in the beer line. So, all these people that are saying, you know, this is disrespectful, this is that, whatever, but you're like me. You're either in freaking parking lot J at MetLife.
Don't lie. You know who you are.
You are in parking lot J. You're either in the bathroom pissing because you came from parking lot J.
Yeah.
Or you're in the beer line. So isn't that, you know, if we're going to say they're being disrespectful, isn't that being disrespectful? You're not standing.
And you know what? And you know what? He's right, because I've been there where I'm in the line about to get something, and the national anthem is playing on the TV. Yeah. And again, I would stop. I put my hand right over my heart.
And I do that too. I do that too. I actually do that too.
There are people.
But if I'm outside, I'm not doing that.
I can relate to that. He's right.
Yeah.
He's right because some people, But again, I think it's what you were taught, how you were grown up.
Yeah.
What was taught to you as a child, because you are a product of your parent. What they teach you.
Yeah.
What values do you value most? But again, like I said before, we're in America. You're the land of the free, home of the brave. All right, you have that freedom to voice your.
And the thing that these idiots is I mean, listen, like political views aside, I think Donald Trump's a fucking moron, and there's a lot of morons in this country, and that's why they voted him in.
Yeah.
But from their logic, they don't really know what Kaepernick did in the beginning. Kaepernick sat in the beginning.
Yeah.
And no one knew about it.
Because they ain't televised
Nobody, they didn't televise it. Then all of a sudden, an Army veteran or Navy veteran, I forget, or Marines, whatever, actually saw it and talked to Kaepernick about it and said, if you're going to do something, don't sit, kneel.
Yeah.
And then it became a story. And then, so, he's doing what he feels is right, social injustice. He did start off a little rugged by wearing the pig socks.
Yeah.
Which was probably a bad taste, but he's still, the people that misconstrue this are retards that, follow the law, follow whatever Trump and Pence say.
Yeah.
They're not disrespecting the flag.
Yeah.
They're not disrespecting the anthem. In fact, most of these guys do a lot of their community, especially Kaepernick. And a guy like Chris Long,
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles, who gave up his whole salary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The entire year.
That's amazing.
The entire year.
That's amazing.
And I think coming up this year, it's going to get even worse now because let's say your team, the Titans, only has 8 players on the field. Then what?
Well,
And the other 42 or 43 are in the locker room.
But you got to remember, when that week that they did that, we were playing against the Seattle Seahawks, and we were the first that had both teams in the locker room. Nobody came out. So I can definitely see us doing the same thing next year. Not one person came out. So the field was empty when they did the national anthem when Titans played the Seahawks last year.
Why would Goodell do something like this? The ratings went down a little bit. And the ratings went down not only because
Yeah, there was a lot of factors.
it wasn't
in
even that.
Yeah, it's
it
a lot
was,
of factors.
Partially could have been that.
Yeah.
A lot was going on with the elections. A lot of people tuned into the election.
Yes.
And also people are watching shit on their phones now.
Yep.
They're not tuning into Fox 5, NBC, CBS. You can watch this shit. You can stream it.
Go to bars.
Go to bars.
Yeah.
So was he worried about the rating? I mean, why would you be worried about the ratings when he just sold? Didn't he just sell Thursday Night Football for like $1 gazillion?
I think most of it had to do with Goodell represents the owners, and I think more owners were siding with Trump than being publicly known. Some of them have come out publicly stated it, like Houston Texans owner, Bob McNair and everything, but I think more owners sided with Trump than they knew, and they tried to hide that. They tried to say, oh, this was a unanimous vote. Everybody voted to having this run. Then some owners came out and said, no, we didn't vote that way. So I think they tried to hide it, pretty much trying to make it like they were a consolidated, unified group when they really weren't. But I think majority of the owners sided with Trump.
So how about this? How about 78% of the league is African American?
Yeah.
I know it'll never happen, but what if the fucking players say, you know what, I'm not playing? Then what Goodell's gonna do?
Yeah, I completely agree.
I mean,
This is a business, right?
that's what I'm saying. They
So-
don't want to give up the paycheck.
I mean, some people I think would, but not enough to make a difference. Because that's the thing. We talk about majority of the league is black, and that's the reason why you never see Trump go after the NBA. Because majority of basketball, majority of football is both black. However, the top guys in the NBA, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, they're also black. The top people in the NFL are quarterbacks, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. And Tom Brady is a Trump supporter. Drew Brees had come out and said that he didn't feel good not standing, and he wanted to actually stand for so the top people in the NFL, the top money guys, they are actually supporting this. So it's hard. So that's why he can go to the NFL, because they're going to agree with him on some of these things.
What about? I mean, it won't happen to the Patriots because they have white wide receivers.
Yeah. That are suspended.
But what about Drew Brees? What if Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, What about those guys? They said, well, you know what, Drew, fuck you, we're not coming out. Who are you going to throw it to?
It's gonna
you going to throw it to your center?
Ooh, it'll be a big difference.
It's going to completely separate that team.
Big difference.
Like you see, they may be the top guys.
Yeah.
But the guys that make them good, aside from the offensive linemen, the guys that make the plays when you throw the little 6 dump balls, that 95% of them are black.
I agree.
And you need those guys.
Unless you're New England.
I agree. It's going to take a large majority of that to make the difference because one quarterback, like we always say, if one or two of those top quarterbacks said anything, it's going to change the whole situation. You need 2 or 3 wide receivers on each team to say that to change the situation. You need Michael Thomas to say no. You need Kamara to say no. You need the other guy to say no. And then it completely changes it. So you need 3 guys instead of just the one. If Drew Brees came out and said, no, I'm not for this, everything changes. So you need much more majority of those smaller guys than that one top guy. That's the problem.
Well, we'll see how this plays out come September. I think, I know I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's politics.
But the funny thing about it is that
suck.
if he didn't come out with that ruling, everything was starting to go down. You saw less people. You saw less people kneeling. And the thing about it, before the media really caught on to it, nobody really even cared. They weren't even showing the national anthem at most of these games. If you go on Direct TV and go to Red Zone, they weren't even showing the national anthem. So you weren't even seeing anything about this until the media made it bigger, and then it was made bigger by Goodell and then by Trump and everything. So if they had just kept quiet about it, it was starting to die down. You saw teams like maybe 2 or 3 people still kneeling. Now you're going to see, now everybody's going to be wondering who's in the locker room. So that's going to be the thing. Now it's going to continue on.
And it's a story. The media wants to make it a story. They want people to tune in. They want people to watch. So that's why it's a big deal now. And I mean, you know what though? I really think, as a sports show, politics is in it already. So we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think we have.
You can't do the.
I mean, we can't. Yeah. I mean, it's just in there now. So I think it's important to talk about it.
That trial with Kaepernick is going to bring out a lot because there are already a lot of grumblings about that.
He's subpoenaing Donald Trump. I mean, I'm pretty. We'll see if Donald Trump gets called to court, but
if he shows up,
there's a lot of grumblings about the NFL owners.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Huge
deal. Moving along. Politics are not just in one sport specifically, in boxing, obviously. Boxing politics, we talk about that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Errol Spence, top welterweight. We saw Terrence Crawford yesterday. I know it was Jeff Horn, but he looked phenomenal. What are your thoughts on TC, Terrence Crawford, and what are your thoughts on the best fight to be made in boxing, in my opinion, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence? I don't see it happening for 2 years, but what are your thoughts on that matchup and Terrence Crawford?
Well, let me tell you, I mean, I kind of didn't realize, well, I know I heard it on ESPN or on the website, but you had to pay, right? Or you had to
you got to trial.
ESPN Plus.
So, and it was funny because I didn't watch it either live.
I didn't either.
But we knew what the outcome was going to be, right?
Exactly.
So
that's what the highlights.
Everybody know.
Crawford's a beast, man. He was phenomenal. He looked and like we were talking me and Pete earlier. I love Teddy Atlas's.
What did I say? His Volkswagen against a Ferrari.
And that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked beautiful out there. I mean, he was even pulling back punches and cocking them back, and he was still landing them on horn.
I still think we need to slow the brakes down on the train right now because I've seen everyone saying he's the best guy, 147. Last I checked,
I wouldn't say he's the best.
Last I checked,
but he's
Last I checked, somebody went to England, broke some guys over the bones. Last I checked, some guy came back to Brooklyn, made Lamont Peterson look like garbage.
Toughest guys in all of boxing.
And we're all forgetting him. Keith Thurman's getting married, doesn't want to fight him. Danny Garcia fighting whoever he wants to fight, and who knows if he's fighting Porter next. And they don't want to fight. Porter says, "Well, I'm not ranked in the IBF. I don't want to fight. I'm not fighting Spence because I'm not ranked in the IBF." What? The man at 147 still is Errol Spence Jr.
Yeah.
So I think we should pipe the brakes down
right,
on Terrence
nice,
Crawford.
nice.
Don't get me wrong, I'm a big Crawford guy. But until Horn, it's Jeff fucking Horn.
Yeah. Average
at best.
But he made him look average. That's the thing.
I mean,
so he didn't disappoint.
He
made him look average.
He made him look below average.
Below average.
He's average, but
So
he's below average.
and that goes for Crawford. I mean, if you make a guy,
he's great. He's great.
make him look that bad. Again, that looks good on you.
Listen,
He's great. There are
He's
disappointments
great,
too
but
sometimes.
until
Sometimes you don't come to fight and you don't have the great.
You got to show
the problem with Terrence Crawford is, like I said, we were talking.
I agree.
We're talking politics before, but now we're getting into boxing politics. The guys at 147 all fight on Errol Spence's side.
Yeah.
Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford's
Danny
side.
Garcia. Yeah.
Terrence Crawford's side, 147. Jeff Horn, Manny Pacquiao, who's not going to fight him.
Not fighting him.
Oh no.
Jose Benavidez.
Yeah, that's probably his next fight. If he wants a big fight, that's his big fight for Top Rank.
Errol Spence is going to need. Terrence Crawford's going to need Bob Arum to offer Errol Spence $8 million a fight, guaranteed. $8 million a fight. That's how you're going to get Errol Spence.
He's going to have to bend the knee to Al Heyman.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, listen, the politics in boxing, it's a big problem. It's been a problem for a long time. I mean, there have been fights that should have been made, could have been made, and then of course, because of everybody's bravado, everybody's machismo, you don't make the damn fight. And now we've gone on. It's 2018. There are fights that should have been made, and again, you might not be able to make them now.
And it continues.
So, and it's going to continue. You're right. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to have to break those barriers. I don't know
two great
what
fights
we're
that
going
could
to
happen
have to
this
do.
year if there was
I
no
mean,
politics. Because we got Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. We got Wilder versus Joshua. We got fights that should happen happening right now.
They don't have to happen now, though. I agree.
No, but I'm saying they could happen.
They could happen next year. They could happen.
Yeah, but we know that the Terrence Crawford and Spence.
Well, Bob Arum's going to have to pay Errol Spence $8 million to fight if he wants to make the fight, because he's not going to leave Al Heyman unless you woo him.
Exactly.
But we'll see. Moving along. Charlo versus Trout. Lions only. My two favorite twins in boxing. I think they're the only twins in boxing.
Yeah, I guess.
Austin Trout's a hard guy to stop.
Yeah.
But still, with that victory, Charlo versus Hurd, that has to be next.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And right now, I'm taking Hurd.
I'm still taking her. He's just so huge. He's not a normal 154 pound. He could fight at 168. He's not a 154 guy, but he finds a way to squeeze into that weight to make the weight. But he's so huge. They showed a picture of him standing next to Cotto, who's a small for 154. But it was like these two guys fight in the same division, and it looked like Yao Ming standing next to a guard. Like he's so big, it's ridiculous. So I would pick Hurd also.
I think I'd pick Hurd too. Even though I do like the Charlo brothers.
Yeah, I do.
We were talking about
like
this
them.
earlier, right? I love their personalities.
Lions only, baby.
I love how they fight too. I mean, they really try to.
Shame on Los Angeles yesterday. They're for booing them. He was trying to do the best he could, and they were booing him in Los Angeles.
I remember.
And he wasn't even disrespectful.
Yeah.
He wasn't even disrespectful to them.
But it definitely has to get made, hopefully. And I mean, I think you have to pick him. You have to pick her. I mean, definitely he has the size, and size does matter, man. Especially when you're fighting in a specific weight class. I mean, it's big. It really is.
Battle of Los Angeles happened yesterday again.
Oh yeah.
Great fight.
Abner Mares, Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz proved again that he's the man at 126. I mean, I don't want to see another fight between the two. I kind of knew Leo was going to win anyway. Great fight, though. I mean, it wasn't a great fight. It was a good fight. Leo said that Gary Russell's next. Your thoughts on that fight?
I like it. First and foremost, I mean, that fight was a great fight.
Great? I wouldn't say great. I would say good. I would say good.
I don't know. I just like the little.
There's no one got hurt. No one got hurt.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's the beauty of the sport. It's the beauty of the craft. I love Abner Mares, man. And the kid.
I thought it was exciting.
He is just okay. He is so tough, but his physical limitations, you saw it yesterday. I mean, Santa Cruz is just a taller, lankier, a longer fighter, and Maris was just not able to get inside. He wasn't able to do what he needed to do. Yeah. And
every big man with a reach advantage should fight like Santa Cruz.
yeah, of course. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes he
doesn't either, though.
Sometimes
he gives Mares.
But no, you have to take shots. He
made Mares. He fought the inside of Mares. He shouldn't be fighting Mares.
Sometimes I think sometimes you almost have to though. because it just happens that way.
But
But
Mars dove right in.
so yeah, when you're diving in, I mean, you're gonna
I
get
thought
hit.
he was gonna get caught with an
it's just-
uppercut and get drilled at one
same
point.
thing,
Yeah.
same thing.
But
That's
yeah.
what I thought too.
But
I mean,
if you have a reach advantage like he did, and you throw the amount of jabs and the amount of punches he did, it's really hard to get inside. That's why Abrams had to dive in sometimes.
So I think, in my opinion, I know there's fights to make in that division.
Oh yeah.
Leo could fight Gary Russell, right? I think Mares and maybe a Carl Frampton would be a good fight.
Not Selby.
Well, not Selby, but Carl Frampton. Carl Frampton and Mares, I think would be a good fight. I think both guys, both lost to Leo Santa Cruz in the last year, even though Frampton won the first one. But I think that would be a good fight. And I think any mix of Oscar Valdez, Leo Santa Cruz, and Frampton.
Probably not gonna happen. I want to see Oscar Valdez versus Frampton and see Selby versus.
Well,
Mares.
that could happen.
That's what I want to see.
You want to see Selby? Selby sucks. Selby sucks.
I think it'll be a good
He
fight.
lost to
against
Josh
Mares,
Warrington, though. He lost to Josh Warrington.
though. I think that he did, but I think that'll be a good fight.
I'd
I
rather
think the
see
styles
Ja-
match up well with him versus Mares.
I'd rather see Josh Warrington and Mares. I don't want to see this. Selby sucks, dude. Dude, he's the Welsh Mayweather. The Welsh Jeff Mayweather.
Wow. Okay.
The Welsh Jeff Mayweather.
Oh man.
Well, last bit on the boxing. Triple G became the first time. I'm out. You need me to charge it? How much time we got left? You want to charge it?